Good morning, Emerson. Speaker of the House Paul Ryan is pushing his own political agenda through a series of campaign-themed videos.
And ISIS reportedly had plans to attack the Euro 2016 soccer championships this summer.
All that and more today, Tuesday, April 12th. I'm Lauren Fox.
And I'm Sean Stackhouse. We have a great show for you this morning. Health and fitness correspondent Caroline Long will be here in studio to guide us through the nutritional choices we should be making. Lauren, it's tough to stay healthy this close to finals week.
It really is. And with Marathon Monday only a week away, I'll be sitting down with Dave McGillivary, the director of the Boston Marathon.
It's going to be exciting to hear. But now for this morning's headline story. The Islamic State cell that claimed responsibility for the attacks in Paris and Brussels also had plans for another attack in France. Terror suspect Mohamed Abrini reportedly told interrogators that the group is next targeting the Euro 2016 soccer championships, according to a source close to the investigation. The tournament is set to take place throughout June and July and is one of the largest international sports competitions. This is not the first time that French soccer has been an ISIS target, however. The same cell that carried out 3 suicide bombings outside of the French National Stadium in November, but were all unsuccessful in getting into the stadium. This information of future ISIS targets in Europe came after raids last Friday in the Belgian capital, where 6 suspects were detained. But now for more news here in the United States, we go to our news correspondent, Chloe Thibault.
Thanks, guys. Here are today's developing stories. Republican Speaker of the House Paul Ryan has been sending mixed signals this past week involving a possible presidential candidacy. Ryan has repeatedly neglected any intention of running to be his own party's nominee. However, he is deeply involved in the counter of Donald Trump and continues to give regular speeches on politics and policy. It is suspected that if Trump does win the GOP nomination, Ryan will side with particularly vulnerable House Republicans rather than assist Trump directly. Ryan, however, is not completely popular with all of his fellow party members due to slightly more tolerant views on immigration policies and trade. Despite numerous campaign-themed videos on his website, it seems as though for now the Republicans will not have to worry about opposing Ryan. Across the globe, on Sunday, Macedonian police used tear gas and rubber bullets to stop migrants at the border. In the Eastern Hemisphere, hundreds of people are currently trying to break through a border fence in a refugee camp in northern Greece. Over 12,000 people have remained in this area for over a month while waiting in hopes that the border may open. In Greece, around 52,000 migrants are trapped after Balkan countries closed their borders 2 months ago. Last year, over 1 million migrants entered Europe, and the continent is a bit overwhelmed, reshaping its immigration policy in an effort to ward off more newcomers. Pope Francis will visit the Greek island Lesbos on Saturday in an attempt to highlight the journey of migrants and offer them solidarity. On Saturday, the New England Gay Officers Action League celebrated its 25th year anniversary after they began in 1991. The support group was initiated by Officer Preston Horton through a meeting in a Northampton apartment. 6 officers had attended this first consultation, and many were terrified of getting caught and fired. The league now has over 300 members today and has trained numerous police chiefs on treatment of gay officers in their departments. The group has also led to police academy trainings on how to help recruits understand their work with gay victims, creating a more tolerant environment for everyone. And finally today, Emerson College is in the midst of Emerald Empowerment Week. This movement is Kappa Gamma Chi's stance against domestic violence and sexual assault within Emerson College and Boston as a whole. Tonight from 6 to 7, a survivor will be speaking in the Beard Room at Little Building. A discussion on media portrayals of domestic violence will then follow from 8 to 9:30. On Wednesday in the same location, an art therapy course will be available from 5 to 6, and later on at 7, Carmen Leo will be running a trauma-informed yoga workshop. Finally, stay tuned for the hashtag Know Your Rights Q&A on Thursday and the Emerald Empowerment Gala at 7 in the Billboardy Theater on Friday. That's all I have for you today. Back to the desk.
Thank you so much, Chloe. Now I'm going to jump back up to Paul Ryan. He's certainly running for something, and you said that Republicans might not have to worry about him kind of jumping on in right now, but do you think that he might actually do that for this election?
Yeah, Lauren, right now it's kind of up in the air. It seems a little bit late for presidential candidates to be joining, but I think it all depends on if any of the candidates right now get the nomination. I think if no one gets enough votes to be the next nominee, we're going to have to take another look at this issue.
That's a good point, Chloe. Now for today's Weather forecast today is going to be rainy yet again, but warm like yesterday with highs in the upper 50s. That rain will dissipate into the evening and it will get chilly tonight with highs in the upper 30s. The sun will finally be back out again tomorrow with temperatures in the low 50s. It's looking like it will be partly sunny for the rest of the week, which will be a huge mood booster for us, Sean. When I'm studying for finals, these rainy days can really make me a little bit of a Debbie Downer.
You know, I agree, but at the same time, I do like having a little bit of rain while I'm trying to study just to relax me, but it's nice to know that we do have some nice weather to look forward to.
I agree. We have to take a quick commercial break, but when we come back, I'll be sitting down with Boston Marathon director Dave McGillivary.
And Red Sox opening day was yesterday. Find out if David Price was able to lead the Red Sox to victory or if Chris Davis and the Red Hot Orioles would be too much to handle.
Welcome back. I'm here with Dave McGillivray, the director behind the Boston Marathon. Thanks so much for being here, Dave.
Thank you, Alana.
So can you kind of give us the lowdown on what such a big job that you have kind of entails?
Well, I consider myself more of a conductor than a director, because what a conductor does is surrounds themselves with the best possible people that can carry out the job. And so we have people who have been around this race for 20, 30, 40 years. I mean, since dinosaurs roamed the earth, it seems. And great experience, and so it all usually comes off pretty smooth.
Great. And you've had a lot of experience as a runner yourself. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Well, I ran my first Boston Marathon when I was 17 years old. Unfortunately, I didn't make it. I dropped out in the hills of Newton, and I vowed to come back again the next year, and I did. And I finished that race, and I said, I'm going to run this race every year for the rest of my life. And I've done it for the last 43 years. And when I got the job 29 years ago to direct it, I had a dilemma, because do I direct it or do I run in it? And I decided maybe I can do both. So I direct it during the day, and when the race is over, I go back out to the start and run the whole thing myself, and have actually finished last in this race for the last 28 years.
Wow. And you've done over 130 marathons in all?
Yeah, it's actually 144 to date.
Oh, wow. What are some of the other marathons that are your favorites?
A lot of them are, New York City or, Singapore. There's races all over the world now. It's unbelievable that the walls of intimidation have crumbled. People are believing in themselves, and this industry has just taken off. And so many people are doing it. Races are selling out at record pace, but that's all a good thing. People are believing themselves, and no matter how slow they go, at least they're going faster than the person sitting on the couch, right?
Yeah. So 144 marathons, you've got to have some interesting stories.
Well, a lot of different stories for sure. I mean, for me, it was all about when I was a kid growing up not far from here in Medford, Mass. And I always wanted to be an athlete. But unfortunately, I was challenged, and my challenge was I was vertically challenged. So I was the smallest kid around, and so I was always getting cut or always the last one picked. And that's why I decided to run, because nobody can cut you from running. So I ran the marathon. Then in 1978, I ran across the United States from Medford, Oregon to Medford, Massachusetts, finished in Fenway Park in front of 35,000 people. And I haven't looked back since.
How long did that take you?
80 days, 80 consecutive days. I averaged about 50 miles every single day. And I did it again a couple of years ago with 9 other friends, and I ran up the East Coast of America, and a lot of these different things. But a lot of it was to benefit worthy causes. And so when you give, you receive even more in return, and that's why I like to do these things.
And you also have a sports enterprise company where you direct other races. What are some of the races you've worked on for that?
I started my event management business about 35 years ago. And when I ran across the country, after I finished, I opened up a store, and I started putting on events to promote the store. And then I realized I like putting on events more than shoes on people's feet. So I direct the New Balance Falmouth Road Race, the TD Beach to Beacon, races all over the country.
So for newcomers to the Boston Marathon, you've run a lot of races. What would you say to someone who's maybe running their first marathon on Monday?
Well, I think it's more just taking in the experience. Maybe don't try to go out too hard and run a PR, a personal record. It's just to enjoy the experience. I mean, this is the holy grail of marathoners throughout the world. And the idea is to enjoy it, to experience it, maybe come back again someday and run it a little bit harder, but don't go out too fast and crash and burn in the hills like I did my first year.
And in recent years, security has definitely been a concern. Are you involved in the planning of that, or is that more of a city kind of?
Well, it's definitely a collaboration between event management and our public safety partners, but they determine what the level of security should be And as a result, they dictate to us, tell us this is what it's going to be, and we have to build a race around it. And it's been a collaborative effort, and over the last couple of years, the runners have really supported it. They want to be safe too. So everything seems to be going along really well, incident-free races since 2013.
Well, great. Thank you so much for being here today. Speaking of another big day in Boston, Malcolm Kellner is here to tell us more about Monday's Red Sox home opener.
Thanks, Lauren. After a solid 3-2 start to the season, the Boston Red Sox came back to Fenway Park for their home opener on Monday. Could the Sox new ace David Price hold down the potent Baltimore Orioles offense? Let's find out. David Ortiz taking the field for one last home opener at Fenway. He, of course, got a rousing ovation, one of the best to ever put on a Red Sox uniform. His daughter, Alex, even got to sing the national anthem. Aw. But Big Papi made his presence felt during the game, too. Bottom of the first with the Sox already up 1-0. He takes this Giovanni Gallardo changeup off the Green Monster for a long single, scoring Dustin Pedroia. I'm on my David Ortiz. Okay, last time I do that, I promise. But the Orioles came right back in the third inning. Down 3-2 here, Mark Trumbo demolishes a David Price pitch to center field for a 3-run bomb to make it 5-2 O's. But the Sox would rally back, capped off by Mookie Betts' groundout to tie the game at 5. But top of the ninth with 2 runners on and the game tied at 6, Chris Davis for the Orioles says, I eat Craig Kimbrell fastballs for breakfast, and right now I'm very hungry. 449 feet to dead center. My goodness. What a crushing blow to the Sox and their new closer. That made it 9-6. Betts would hit a solo homer in the bottom of the ninth, but it wasn't enough as the Sox fall 9-7. The NBA playoffs are approaching, but with only 2 regular season games left, a lot can still change for the Boston Celtics. Going into Monday, the C's sat in 4th place in the Eastern Conference, but could potentially finish as high as 3rd and as low as 6th. Monday night, they took on the Charlotte Hornets, who were in 6th place themselves, just a game behind Boston, so a win would be huge. Isaiah Thomas and the boys getting ready for Buzz City. It started off pretty well for Boston. First quarter with the game tied at 20, Avery Bradley gets the pick from Jonas Jerebko and knocks down the 3-ball. Then a couple plays later, Kelly Olynyk is going to drive the lane, kick it out to Bradley again in the corner this time for another 3, splashdown. He'd finished with 17, much to the delight of that young fan right there. But in the second quarter, everything fell apart for the Celtics. Jeremy Lin bringing Lin's sanity back. He drains the 3 from the top of the arc. Not so sure about that haircut, though. But Lin was clowning on the C's all night as he hits a turnaround jumper in the lane. He led all scorers with 25 points in this one. Isaiah Thomas would try to stop the bleeding at this point for the Celtics, but Kemba Walker just picks his pocket, takes it all the way to the rack for the finish. Hornets finished the third quarter on a 31-3 run. Yes, you heard that right. Yikes. Charlotte would go on to win 114-100 as the Celtics fall to 5th place now in the East. But they play their final game against the now 4th place Heat on Wednesday, so a lot will be on the line once again. The Emerson Lions had a busy weekend on the field against tough NEWMAC opponents. The men's lacrosse team lost at Wheaton on Friday. The baseball team lost 3 games over the weekend to MIT. The softball team lost doubleheaders to MIT and WPI, but the women's lacrosse team was the saving grace for Emerson, beating Coast Guard handily on the road 13-4. The Lions were led by Garen Morissette, who notched 4 goals and an assist, and Meredith Weber, who had 3 goals and an assist of her own. With the win, the team improves to an impressive 7-4 and 3-1 in NEWMAC conference play. That'll do it for sports today. Back to Lauren and Sean at the desk.
Thanks, Malcolm. This week, music correspondent Christina Guessferd got the chance to see an old friend of GME past, Charlie Puth. Let's take a look.
Charlie Puth is back in Boston, and he's here at Brighton Music Hall for his North American tour, debuting his new album, 9-Track Mind, which he released just a few months ago. We are so excited to welcome him back to our city here in Boston, so let's go check out the show.
You got to give it up to me.
It would be an understatement to say Charlie Puth's musical career has skyrocketed this past year. In early 2015, he signed with Atlantic Records and released his debut single, Marvin Gaye, featuring guest vocals from Meghan Trainor.
And when you leave me all alone, I'm like a stray without a home.
But it was his work on three-time Grammy-nominated song with Wiz Khalifa that catapulted him into fame. Puth wrote, co-produced, and sang for the Furious 7 soundtrack's See You Again.
And I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. Come a long way from where we began.
The song earned a #1 spot on Billboard's Hot 100 for 12 consecutive weeks, transforming him from Berklee College grad to world-renowned artist. While at Berklee, Puth majored in music production and engineering, and he gained popularity virally by posting covered hits on his YouTube page. In 2011, he and fellow Berklee student Emily Luther won Perez Hilton's Can You Sing contest with a cover of Adele's Someone Like You.
Never mind, I'll find someone like you.
After the release of the video, Ellen DeGeneres was quick to sign both singers to her label. 5 years later, Charlie Puth revisited his roots in Boston, performing on a stage only a few minutes away from where it all started. Today, millions are singing along to songs from 9-Track Mind like Some Type of Love and Dangerously. And of course, Emerson students get to brag that Charlie Puth took the stage on GME in 2012.
This mattress, spin on its axis, and find me on you.
Even in 2016, he makes sure to acknowledge the past that got him to where he is today.
Hey, it's Charlie Puth. Shout out to Good Morning Emerson and Berklee College of Music.
I'm music correspondent Christina Guessferd.
Yesterday was the Red Sox home opener here in Boston, which is one of the most exciting days each year in the city. However, not everybody is a baseball fan.
That's right, Sean. I'm a bit of a fair weather fan myself, I must admit, but there's nothing like sitting down in those Green Monster seats with a hot dog. To me, it's the quintessential Boston experience, but I'm wondering if you guys agree. Our season is wrapping up here, and I'm kind of wondering, do you guys have any favorite only in Boston experiences?
Who wants to start? Well, you know what? I'll start since you're talking about Fenway Park, and I'm just going to be generic and say my favorite quintessential Boston memory is my first time going to Fenway Park. I grew up in Minneapolis, Minnesota, so a long ways from Boston. I'd never been here until going to Emerson, and so my freshman year I went out to Fenway with a few friends, and it was such an incredible experience for me because I grew up as a Twins fan, and most of my childhood games were at the Metrodome, which I don't know if you guys know anything about that, but that was one of the worst baseball stadiums of all time. It was built for football. It's indoors in a big bubble. They had a plastic bag as the right field wall. It was really bad. But then going to Fenway Park, it was just quintessential old-time baseball. So it was amazing for me, and I'll never forget that moment.
Yeah. I think mine would have to be the first memory that sticks out. Coming here in 6th grade, my family and my best friend's family, we went on one of the Boston Duck tours, and it was just such nice weather. It was the springtime. We got to see the ducklings like in the Boston Commons, so I like to just walk around the gardens now and kind of reminisce back to those days, definitely.
Yeah, I've always lived around Boston, like close to Boston. I used to live in East Boston, and now I live in Lynn. But my favorite memory was going with my family, like my whole family, my aunts and uncles and cousins. We would all go together and have a day in Boston. So we would go to the Commons, we would go to the Peru, and then we would also go to the aquarium. So that was like my favorite experience.
Those are all very exciting. I think for mine is one of the first times I came to Boston. It was on a school field trip in 6th grade. We stayed the night at the Boston Museum of Science, and that was an experience I'll never forget. It was super cool to, be able to walk around the halls and see, the dinosaur room and even the math room. It was a super cool experience, especially as a 12-year-old.
Those Museum of Science trips, those were good. Us New Hampshire people, we had those often.
Oh, yeah.
I did go to the aquarium, though. I remember that was my favorite thing. And the penguins, you know, that's everybody's favorite thing. But I did get picked to go up during the sea lion show and get kissed by a sea lion. And that's, you know, still one of my top 10 life experiences.
I actually haven't been to the aquarium yet, and I've almost graduated, so I better get there before I'm out of Boston. Sounds like it's fun.
The octopus just came to the aquarium.
Who just came?
The octopus just
The
came to the
octopus,
aquarium.
okay.
Just
I think it's
came.
safe to say you need to take that GME field trip.
Yeah,
Yes.
thanks for sharing your memories, guys. We do have to take another quick commercial break, but you're going to want to stay tuned because health and fitness correspondent Caroline Long is going to be helping you through the nutritional pyramid. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to Good Morning Emerson.
Entertainment reporter Medina Shehi is here with the latest Charlie Sheen drama.
Good morning, everyone, and here's what I have for you today. The LAPD has confirmed that they have opened a criminal investigation on Charlie Sheen for allegedly threatening to have his fiancée killed. In December, she sued him for assault and battery, emotional distress, false imprisonment, and even got a restraining order against him. She is also suing him because he did not inform her that he is HIV positive, while he is claiming that she is one of the slew of girls that is trying to expose him falsely only for fame and money. The police are highly involved because there are tapes that the National Enquirer holds where Charlie Sheen is heard actually stating these deadly threats. The chief of National Enquirer is not allowing the police to get a hold of this information, saying it is an illegal search warrant. I guess more companies are following what Apple did, but Charlie Sheen has been known for acting this way in all of his relationships, going all the way back to Brooke Mueller. Hopefully Charlie Sheen has changed his ways now, at least. On a lighter note, the MTV Movie Awards have happened, and I'm here to tell you the winners. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Kevin Hart hosted this year and were the perfect pair. The movie of the year goes to Star Wars: The Force Awakens. Best comedic performance went to Ryan Reynolds in Deadpool. Best kiss went to Rebel Wilson and Adam Devine in Pitch Perfect 2. Best action performance went to Chris Pratt in Jurassic World. Best virtual performance went to Amy Poehler for her role in Inside Out. Best hero went to Jennifer Lawrence as Katniss in Mockingjay Part 2. Best documentary went to Amy, and Best true story went to Straight Outta Compton. Ariana Grande also performed Dangerous Woman. Take a look here.
I'm locked and loaded, completely focused. My mind is open. What you got? Skin to skin. Oh my God, don't you stop.
She was just like Marilyn Monroe in that pink dress that was shown in Marilyn's famous song Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend. However, Ari, no one can be Marilyn Monroe or do a rightful tribute to her. So stick to being Ariana Grande, because trying to be Marilyn took the light off of you, because as we all know, Marilyn's absolute perfection. Can you believe that Star Wars is adding another movie to their installment? Well, get ready, Star Wars lovers, because a new movie is on its way. The first teaser of Rogue One was shown in Good Morning America on Thursday, and it is hitting theaters in just a few months. This is a prequel to Star Wars Episode 4, where Jyn Erso, an orphan who became a rebellion fighter, is trying to gain access to the Death Star. Twitter users were very excited for this news. However, the lead being played by another female actress caused a lot of controversy. They are scared that this might take over Star Wars, and they believe that this character might not be the best representation for the movie, but I think that they should just get over it. True fans don't question the work, but appreciate the new releases. Emerson College has some amazing performances coming to the public. Emerson Stage presents Guys and Dolls at the Cutler Majestic Theater. The story is set in post-war New York, dealing with characters that are binary opposites, and is a perfect musical comedy. The show runs from April 14th to April 16th from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. And for the Emerson community, the tickets are $10, while for general admission, the tickets are $20. Also, Emerson's own Campus Clash is having their finale, and they're inviting everyone to come and watch. Emerson College's workshop is going to face the Evie Awards in this show's biggest episode. Someone will walk away with $300 on April 13th, so be sure to watch. Well, that's all I have for you today, and let's get back to Sean and Lauren.
Thank you, Medina. We're here with Caroline Long, who's going to show us the fundamentals of a healthy diet.
So thanks for having me, guys. I have 3 of your essential nutrients that you're going to need to have a healthy and fit diet. You know, it's the end of the year, everyone's rushing to get stuff done, everything's going so fast, so we often forget to take care of our bodies, and so we often feel ourselves getting tired. I know I've been tired the last few days, and that's because I've been too focused on schoolwork and not about what I'm putting in my body. So here we've got carbohydrates, healthy fats, and protein. I'm going to explain what each of these does for our body.
I know it's always tough at the end of the year, so close to finals, to make sure that you're getting proper nutrients and eating healthy because you're so busy with everything. I know, Lauren, you can relate.
I absolutely can relate. It's easy to just go to the Max and get those chicken fingers late at night. But you know what? You got to keep this stuff in mind. So let's start off with the carbohydrates.
Yes, and these are all things that you can get at your local supermarket. They have them at the Max, the C-Store, Paramount Cafe, DH, what have you. So first we have your carbohydrates, and carbohydrates are very important for energy. The Boston Marathon is coming up. People are going to be carb loading for that. Carbs actually get a bad rap with a lot of fad diets. People actually cut carbs out. But carbs are glucose, essentially, and every cell in your body runs on glucose. So the more carbs you kind of smash in, the more you're going to have to work with during the day for energy purposes.
An overload of carbs is bad, though,
Yes.
especially starchy carbs.
Excess of anything is bad, but you've got some bagels, potatoes, and pasta. You know, it's all good stuff if you pair it with some vegetables, some fruits, things like that. So next we have your fats, and fats also get a bad rap because when we think of fats, we think of, you know, hearty, junky food, and of course Fritos from the C-Store should never be a full meal. But we've got some vegan butter that I actually have, some canola oil, and I know Chipotle is very popular. Throw some guac on there. Avocados are amazing for you. And healthy fats are a great source of A, D, and K vitamins, and they're good for healthy hair and skin.
And real quick, what about these proteins?
Yes, I've got some eggs and I've got some peanut butter, and protein is great for building tissues and healing cells.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us this morning. That's all the time we have today. Thanks for tuning in.
Be sure to catch us on Thursday and have a great rest of your day.